Hey guys, welcome back to Chariot Palmistry. My name is Sulabh Jain, and in this video we're going to have a look at the crypto markets coming into 2025. We're also going to be opening up the new RoadVi tool to have a look at specific cryptos such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, and having a look at where their energy sits over next year. Now, just as a quick heads up on this, I think February and April are going to be tricky months for the crypto markets generally. And the reason I mention that now in the introduction of this video is I may not be making videos in those specific months. I've got some personal bad times, I think, that may be coming along, or at least I'm predicting coming along in the month of Feb. So I'll take a couple of weeks off doing videos at that point. And then in April, my brother's getting married. So I'll be away with family for about a week or two on that one. So just as a heads up, if I disappear in that time, I'm still try to make videos, but I can't promise that I will. But those two just coincidentally happen to be very critical months. So that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is that this current cycle is ruled by Jupiter. And this is a concept that I'll come back and talk about again in the latter part of this video. But Jupiter is a very rational planet. You need to have logic and rationality in order to succeed with Jupiterian cycles. So we'll look very deeply into this one in just a second. But before we do, let's pull up a screenshot to have a look at how the predictions have been so far in this bull cycle. And this is an exercise I like to do regularly. It just helps us keep track of where the energy is sitting with these predictions to make sure we're actually reading the situation correctly. So this was a screenshot from my video I think I put out in the end of June of 2024. We'll just continue these predictions from July. So we were predicting that the market would move up in July, which did happen. There was a correction in August, followed by the prediction that the market would move up in September and into October. However, the prediction that the market would correct because of Jupiter retrograde on October the 9th did not take place. And in November, it went up in a massive way. So just to keep score here, that puts the accuracy at about 10 correct predictions out of 12, which is a result that I'm very happy with. So that's the lay of the land of how the crypto energy was over 2024. Before I talk about how the crypto markets are going to be in 2025, I want to give you guys the big picture, the overall look at how things are. You see, earlier this year, I put out a video series, which I called the most important video series that I'm ever going to make. And in it, I talked about the decline of the industrial age and how the information age is taking over. And right now, we're living in kind of a crossroads in between the two, where one yuga is destroying itself and another one is being reborn. This is a period of chaos that we live in. The reason this is important to understand in regards to cryptocurrencies is that crypto is the financial market for the information age, whereas the industrial age, that relies on the banking system to finance it. So if you're looking like, I don't know, the main banks that have just recently started up ETFs and all that, they're using information age technology to sustain an industrial age methodology. That's not going to work. You see, to look at the big picture here, we're not just trying to find the top of this current bull cycle, though in a minute I'll give you some dates on when I think that might be. We're trying to set you guys up and your family for the next several generations. So even if you miss the top of this specific bull market, you'll be set for the next several centuries if you follow information age principles. So we'll talk about this bull cycle. Then I want to talk about the next bull cycle, how to set you guys up for that. So before we do that, let's talk about this bull market and just the general energy around it. Then we'll get to specific predictions. Now, in a previous video, I talked about this bull market being ruled by the planet Jupiter. You see, the last bull market was ruled by the planet Rahu. And in that bull market, you could afford to be greedy because Rahu is a planet of greed. Yeah, in this bull cycle ruled by Jupiter, it's more about rational plans and having some sort of idea of what you're going to do with the money and more or less the legacy that you try to build for yourself at this time. In the last bull market, there were lots of scams like FTX and Serum and all of those. This time round, there aren't so many of those. So we know energetically the energy is just a whole lot purer this time round. The reason that's important is Jupiter loves knowledge and rational plans. So again, looking at the big picture, you've got to have a plan on what you're going to do with this money, if you make any, in this bull market. It's not just buy low and sell high. You've got to figure out, are you putting that money into real estate? Are you putting it into, I don't know, paying down debt or education? Whatever your plan is, you've got to rigorously make sure you stick to it. Now, having said that, let me open up the RoadVi tool and I'll show you guys specifically where the tops and bottoms are with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and one other cryptocurrency. Okay, so this is the RoadVi interface for Bitcoin. And for those of you who are new to this particular tool, it's just something that we created with one of the people in our community, Ganesh Lakshman. And what we're basically doing is we've tried to figure out a way to automate planetary transits to make predictions on when prices go up. So down here on the left axis is the specific transit we're looking at. This is the calendar year, and this is the month in particular for which we want to make a prediction. Now, generally speaking, green means the price goes up. Dark green means it goes up a lot. Yellow means sideways volatility. Dark yellow means a lot of sideways volatility. And red over here means we predict the price goes down at this time. Dark red, by the way, means it goes down a lot. So to give you an idea of how this works, you see over here in this period, from about May to June, there were 3 periods where the price of Bitcoin should have gone up. The energy should have generally translated to being a sideways move, and then a 4th move up before a general downward trend here. So there's 6 different planetary transits happening at this time. Now, if I click on this chart here, this will tell us that the tool was predicting bearishness for Bitcoin on May the 14th, getting even more from this period over here. And if you have a look at it, there was one period where it went up, a second period where it went up, a third one, and then a 4th one over here. So there were 4 pushes upwards for Bitcoin in a general sideways trend with a bearish trend down here as well. So we had all 6 planets in kind of like a planetary war going on. Now, if we come around to what's going on at the moment with the Bitcoin markets, you'll see in November, our tool predicted that this thing should start to go up. And if we click on this transit here in particular, it says from October 11, things start to get bullish, and it warms up to about December 29th. However, from December 29th to Feb the 5th is when it gets really, really hot. Now, with RoadVi, we don't make predictions on the specific number the price goes to. We're more or less focused on the planetary transits and where this trend is going. And so, according to our tool, we believe the price should start rocketing up at around about the 29th. Between now and then, it should be sideways, maybe downwards a little bit, but don't stay out of the markets too long. It should keep rocketing upwards. So that's the general lay of the land, at least up until about Feb the 5th, prices look good. Now, you'll notice on the screen, I've kind of covered over what's going to happen after April, but I just want to show you guys over here in Feb, there's an energetic change that takes place with Bitcoin. There's one planetary transit that pushes the price sideways, one that pushes it up, one that pushes it down, one that pushes it sideways again, and another one that pushes it up. So it looks like a 5-planet, let's call it a conflict or a war that goes on. Remember, the last time this particular transit happened, the red one, was in May of this year, of 2024, which was generally not a good time to be in the markets. So again, don't take this as financial advice, but according to our tool, there's going to be some major energy changes happening with Bitcoin in the month of February. And in a moment, when I give you my predictions on the overall Bitcoin market and the crypto markets, I'll tell you exactly what I think's going on then. But just tentatively for now, I think there's going to be some sort of regulatory announcement taking place at that point. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Let's switch over to some of the other cryptos that this tool can do, and I'll pull up Ethereum. So that's the other big one that everyone likes. So just tentatively looking over here, generally a good period throughout the middle of the 2024. Coming into next year, however, you can see there's a little bit of green. Actually, let me click on this transit over here, just to show you like back data on how this stuff works. We were predicting from October 11th to the November 27th, this price should start to heat up. Then from November 27th to December the 19th, it would have been very hot. And you can see the general price pretty much matched. By the way, the price is the light green line. The dark green line is the energy of what we believe is going to happen with Ethereum. And as you can see, the two pretty much moved almost in an exact correlation at that period. Now, coming into 2025, again, I've covered up most of the data for 2025 right now, but a good period for Ethereum seems to be just after that Bitcoin drop takes place. Remember, Bitcoin was around about, well, the energy change in it was on Feb the 6th. At about the same time, Ethereum starts to get bullish. So that's an interesting thing to note, that the mother of all cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, seems to go in a different path to the other cryptos. And that's why I'm thinking there's got to be some sort of regulatory announcement that takes place in Feb that shifts the whole landscape of cryptocurrencies. Maybe Bitcoin won't be the market leader anymore. And by that, I don't mean to say that it's going to decline or go to zero or anything. I just mean at the moment when Bitcoin goes up, all crypto markets go up. That trend may not be there in Feb of next year. So I'll show you guys just one other crypto real quick, and that's XRP, Ripple. This one we're actually very optimistic about. Now, if we go down, we'll have a look at Ripple just over these last couple months. So our tool predicted from September 3rd to 28th, it would start to go up, but then get really hot from September 28th to November 16th. And we just got that energy connecting right at the very end. So we just made that prediction come out. Now, after that period was a little bit of bearishness with XRP. So we were thinking from November 17 to December 18, because of some planetary transits, there'd be a lot of bearish activity. So there's one energy pushing this up, but with the bearish energy, the price pretty much just ended up going sideways to down. And having a look at this other sort of counter energy that takes place at this point, which is the bullish one, from about December 13, it should have started going up. Now, our tool's predicting from January the 10th to February the 9th, XRP is going to be going really, really well. Again, don't take this as financial advice. This is just what our astrology transits are telling us. Now, coming into next year, and again, I've covered up most of what's going to happen in the latter part of the year, but just in Feb, where there's that sea change taking place for Bitcoin and Ethereum, we can see a lot of green bars taking place for XRP. And that's a really important thing to note here, because there's some big energetic change happening at that point. So those are my predictions for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP using the RoadVi tool. If you guys want access to the tool, you can visit our website at roadvi.ai, and you can sign up with the coupon code CHAR10. Remember, that's all in capital letters, so it's only $100 just to get started with that. You can also create a free account, which will give you back data for gold as well. So that's the RoadVi tool. Let me also give you guys my predictions over the next couple months for the crypto markets in general. And my first prediction is in the last week of December, the Bitcoin price should start to go up a lot. And over January, I'm expecting it to be very bullish, especially from mid-January onwards. There is, however, going to be some sort of correction taking place, especially for Bitcoin in the month of February. That's where I'm speculating that there could be some sort of government announcements coming along that starts to bring this into the mainstream. March should be a sideways month for most of the cryptocurrencies. Then in April, there seems to be another kind of correction going on. Now, I'll come back in the month of April after my brother's wedding, and I'll give you guys more predictions on what's going to be happening in May, June, July, and throughout the rest of 2025. At this point, though, what I want you guys to do is focus not just on the next couple months or where the top is, but what I was saying before on that bigger picture. Part of that bigger picture is preparing for the next bull cycle. Now, remember a moment ago how I was talking about the last bull cycle being Rahu energy, this one being Saturn energy. The next one is going to be ruled by the planet Saturn. And Saturn is a planet that rewards hard work, but it gives its rewards very slowly and incrementally over time. You see, when Rahu hits the cryptocurrency markets, all the prices go up. Some tokens go up 10 times, 100 times. There's crazy numbers there. When Jupiter hits the cryptocurrency markets, things go up in a slow and steady, methodical manner. But with Saturn, it's not going to go up quickly over a 1 or 2 year period. It's going to go up a little bit now, and then a couple months later, a little bit more. It's slow and steady growth, but it's extremely slow and tedious growth. And that's just what the energy of Saturn is like. And that's the energy that I want you guys to prepare for right now. Before this current bull market's over, I want you guys thinking what's coming next. Because remember, the big picture here is that the information age is overtaking the industrial age, and we need to get our house in order for that change. So that's the first thing. Think long term, but also at the same time, start planting the seeds to give you rewards in about 4 or 5 years from now. Actually, that reminds me, I just put out a video a couple days ago about a new astrology technique that I may have uncovered. And in it, we talked about whenever a planet transits Rohini, whatever dreams you come up with at that time manifests when that same planet transits into the Chitra nakshatra. And right now, Jupiter is in Rohini. And it will transit in Chitra in about 4 or 5 years from now, which coincidentally is about the next peak of when the next bull cycle should be. At that point, Saturn should be getting very close to Taurus, which I think is going to kick off the next bull cycle. So start to manifest your dreams now with a 5-year plan on crypto, whilst at the same time trying to find the peak of this one. Remember, guys, once again, I'm not giving financial advice. I just give Jyotish advice here. You guys figure out what you want to do with the dates and the times and what I'm saying. But at the same time, think big picture. Like if there's nothing else that you guys get from my videos, I hope it's that big picture analysis that helps you navigate your life. So the question then is, what are the big cryptos that are going to do well in the next bull cycle? Now, I don't think it's going to be Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a very slow chain, meaning in order to do a transaction on it, you've got to wait a very long time for the transaction to go through the entire ledger. The only reason governments are catching on to it now is because governments are just generally very slow at doing anything. So they're about 10 years behind the 8 ball on this. But the next cycle, that ruled by Saturn, is actually going to reward the hardworking chains, not the ones that are slow and outdated and laborious. So I want you guys to have a think about what are the fastest chains out there, what are the most efficient, the ones that can do transactions the cheapest. And once you do that, then also have a look at the utility of these tokens. What do they actually do? Some of them have a real world scenario where they're applicable. Some of them are meme coins, which are just stupid. I personally don't understand meme coins. And I think Saturn, when it comes into Taurus, is going to punish a lot of them. And then at the third, I suppose, analysis you should have with cryptocurrencies is to have a look at their overall energy. That's the videos that I hope to make for you guys in 4 or 5 years from now. But we've also got the RoadVi tool to help navigate you guys between now and then. And also between now and then, I'm predicting that there's going to be a big financial crash that takes place in the world in the latter part of 2026 and dragging into 2027. The reason I mention that is between this Jupiterian crypto bull cycle and the Saturn-based crypto bull cycle, there's a big cliff right in the middle of that. So not only do we need to prepare for the top of this cycle and prepare for the next one, we need to survive that middle cliff at the same time. And I'll come back in videos in the future to help navigate you guys through that point. So if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Thanks a lot.